What's up guys, Jordan the electrician here, and today we are going to be practicing sizing the breaker and wire for two different AC units, so let's get straight into it. Alright, so our first one here today, we have a minimum circuit capacity of 37 amps and a max fuse size or breaker size of 50 amps. So when you're doing these AC units, you go strictly off the nameplate rating. You size your breaker to the max fuse or breaker size that it states on the nameplate, and then you size your wire to the minimum circuit capacity. The calculations and stuff like that are already done for you by the manufacturer of the unit. So obviously our max fuse or breaker size, it already tells us. So our breaker is going to be a 50 amp 2-pole breaker. And then our circuit capacity is 37 amps. So in my jurisdiction, we're allowed to stub out NM cable or Romex to the exterior wall and go straight into the back of a disconnect. And your jurisdiction, it might be different because technically it's a wet location. So you might have to use THWN. So if we go to 310.16a, we use a 60-degree column to size NM cable. So for that 37 minimum ampacity circuit, we could use number 8 Romex or NM cable. If you were having to use THWN, you'd size it off the 75-degree column, and you still have to use number 8. Sometimes, like for example, if this was a 32 amp minimum circuit capacity, if you're using NM cable, you'd still have to use a number 8. But if you're using THWN, you could use a number 10. That's why it's always good to check your tables and verify what wire size is actually acceptable. Second one here, we have a minimum circuit capacity of 17 amps and a max fuse or breaker size of 25 amps. So obviously, once again, the calculation is already done for you. You just size it based on the nameplate. Your breaker is going to be a 25 amp 2-pole breaker. And your wire in this situation, for me, I can use NM cable. It'll be a 12-2 because in 310.16 we see 12 wire is good for 20 amps. But if you were having to use THWN, you can see you could actually use 14 gauge.